Okay. So this is just dealing with factorials and combinations in the formula sense. Okay, so 20C4, can you find your formula sheet? 20C4. Okay, you ready? N factorial would be 20 factorial divided by,
Are you looking at the top one? Pointing at it.
on these three formulas, I'm looking at the middle one. Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's the C one.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So the N factorial is the 20 factorial. For the R factorial, I write 4 factorial. And can we do this in our head? What is the N subtract the R? What are the subtraction of those two numbers? 16 factorial. All of that divided by 17 times 19.
So where does this 16 come from?
In the formula, it will be here, which says the N number subtract the R number. So the 20 subtract the 4. That's where I got the 16. Okay, so I'm going to do 20 factorial, 4 factorial, 16 factorial times 1 over, so I'm just timesing and flipping that. Okay, what was my little hint when you do something like this? Start expanding. Anybody remember? Factorials. Which one should I start with? Which one would be the best option? Just the bigger one. Okay, ready? 20, 19. How am I going to know when to stop expanding? Are you going to get hints from other things? At the 16. 18, 17, 16 factorial. So I already have set myself up to cancel with that 16 factorial. But I should still do this one. 4, 3, 2, 1 times 16 factorial. So when I say 16 factorial, it's really 16, 15, 14, it's all of that. Times a 17 and a 19 without explanations. Those are just regular 17s and 19s, right? Okay. 16 and all of the beyond will cancel that 16 and all of the rest below it. Just the number 19 will cancel. Just the number 17 will cancel. And now I think our calculator will handle this, or do you want to reduce more things, or just go into your calculator? Like if I was doing this without a provincial exam calculator, I would just have to reduce a 20 and a 4. And so that leaves me with 360. And then that is 24. So that all came out to 15. So, you know what? If you saw this on your test, I know that you have a calculator with you, and that's fine to plug this in, but you would get no points. Okay? You would have to show maneuvers like that and how to cancel. Okay. So here's number 2. Here's a factorial, and here's a factorial. So I only look at my factorials when I'm starting this expansion process. So which one of those two would you like to start expanding?
Uh, 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 uh,
Which one of those looks bigger than another one? Which is a larger, a number plus 3 or just a number?
I did not see that.
This would be larger. So here we go. N plus 3. If you were to go a lower, what do you get to? N plus 2. Go down. N plus 1. How do I know when to stop? Do you see your stopping point? Do I have to keep going? I have one more to keep going. The next is N. And then I'm just going to say it just keeps going, going, going. Okay? Because that is why I stopped. And I still just have a regular N plus 2.
Wait, so then the factorials go into the negatives, or how does that work?
No, but N could be like 30. So then this is like 33 times,
Oh, okay,
yeah, 32
Right,
times 31 times 30 over 30 factorial, like, right?
right, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so we're good to understand all that and beyond cancels. And then this is just a regular, right? Well, there's no factorials now. So that's a regular. And so all I'm left with is this times this. But what does it mean in math to simplify something? Does that look like it would be simplified and multiplied out? It'd be like me leaving a question 4 times 5. I'm not going to leave you a question answered 4 times 5. I'm going to answer you 20. So you still would have to simplify this. Can you FOIL it?
And I asked where the 3 come from?
This 3,
Yeah.
I did the last times the last.
Oh, you can times, oh, I see.
I FOILed, I did this whole thing. And then the 4n was because this is a 1n and a 3n together.
So yeah, I remember.
Okay, I think you can try this one. Ready? Which one of them are you going to expand? The n plus 2 is bigger. So n plus 2, go lower. So n plus 1. Go lower. N. Oh, I can stop at that point. Okay, so all of that would just be canceling. Anything and that and lower. So I'm left with this. So I still will have to simplify by FOILing it out. Okay. Given 2 factorials, which one do you want to do? Which one is a bigger number? The bottom one. Okay, so we're going to expand the bottom one because it's bigger. So n plus 1. What are you at if you go down 1? Just n. What if you go down 1? N minus 1. Oh, I can stop and just say I would continue. Cancels. Okay, we have to be careful how we write this. What happens in math if the top got canceled? What should you write? 1 over. And then can you also FOIL that out on the bottom because that's what you're left with? Okay, so these ones are called equations because I didn't have, or expressions because I didn't have equal signs. But these ones on the bottom are equations, so when we write these ones, we're going to have x equals something at the end, or n equals whatever we have. Okay. I have these two options to expand. Which one of the two options should I start expanding? The 2, so n plus 2, n plus 1, n minus 1, that's where I can stop. Okay, I stop when I get to the other factorial's number. Okay, so we expanded what we could until we reached our kind of our goal. Now, is there something you can divide and cancel out of both sides? Do you want me to say dividing by, or can I just do that? Is that okay? What else would cancel if I divided both sides by an n plus 1, right? Okay, what do I have left on this side? Can you do some that times that? You get something when you expanded that through? N squared plus 2n. Okay, what would the grade 11 you want to do to solve this? Move to one side. Does that look like something you can handle now? Simple, so which multiplies to 35? 7 and 5 plus 7. Okay, now I actually have to eliminate this. Because if I go back to the top, and if n was a negative 7, this would be negative 5 factorial, and does that work? No, because your last spot is a 1. You can't go past. So if I tried to do some kind of negative factorial, it won't work. So n is not able to be negative 7, because if it's in here, it's not working. Well, what if you put a negative 7 into the n position? What's negative 7 plus 2? Negative 5. And then what's negative 5 factorial? That doesn't exist. You can't do it. Because what's the lowest you go when you, where do you stop? When you factorial any number, where do you stop? 1. 1. And then you can't go past 1. Okay, the last example. NC2. Grab your formula sheet. Okay, so NC2. So n factorial over.
Wait, NC2?
Okay, so n
Sorry, there's something funny.
n is just n, right? The r is a 2, so 2 factorial. And what would you do here? There's an n, subtract the r. So we have to write n minus 2. Are you okay with how I found all the numbers to put in there? Does that make sense? Good? I filled that in. Okay. Ready? What one of those 2 factorials would you start expanding? Top one, so n. n minus 1, n minus 2, etc. Does anybody know what 2 factorial is? Just 2. It's 2 times 1. Okay. So that's cancels. Can we multiply those two things? Can you do that on the top? So n squared minus n. Okay, what do you want to do? What's a good idea right now? What's the first instinct? What's your gut saying? Times by 2? So n squared minus n equals 90. Now, what are you thinking? Factoring, but I have to first move, right? Factoring has to have zeros on one side. Do you have something in mind that would multiply to 90? 10 times 9. What do I need? A minus 10? Okay. Now, with this, we have to be careful. 10 choose 2. Does that make sense? Yep. Does negative 9 choose 2 make sense? Nope. You can't pick two objects from negative 9 options, right? And if you feel like you can, you tell me how that works.